Hey, what's up? It's Dominic DeAngelo. I am StudioOneSports.com, and I am live, checking in with all of you on StudioOneSports.com, also on the Studio One Sports X account, and on RVD's X account as well. So, little impromptu. Kind of a reason I wanted to do this is I have a new microphone. So if I sound good, let me know if I sound good on here, because this is a pretty decent, really good microphone, and I'm hoping it picks up pretty well. But I figured I'd go live and talk a little bit about an ongoing kind of fun story in a certain way. Some people might just think it's annoying, but I think it's pretty fascinating, and it's very pro wrestling, and it involves a pro wrestler, whether you like it or not, in Logan Paul. So let's say hi to some folks in the chat here. We already got some folks chiming in. Oh man, look at the crew we already have in here in the house. Anthony Mazzano, yo, what's up, brother? Good to see you. We got Devin Dowling in the house. Heck yeah, Devin Dowling. Yeah, Ben Jones, my boy Ben Jones, Dirty Dom. We got Sean View Entertainment too. Incredible, great channel. Thank you very much. Thank you. Big fan. Appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot. But yes. So this has been going on for the past few days, maybe a week, because I think Tom Brady was on Impulsive about a week ago. And fun kind of comments that he mentioned, taking a little bit of jab at Logan Paul's athleticism. And Logan Paul kind of was like, almost obliviously being like, oh yeah, this whole flag football thing, it's going to be easy for me to handle, basically. And Tom Brady wasn't playing into the fact that Logan Paul was downplaying this whole thing. I mean, a lot of money is involved with this. Obviously, this is a flag football game that's going to go down in Saudi Arabia. So, the money has been fronted for this. Tom Brady's a huge factor in this, the main factor in this out of everything. So he's got a lot of things to kind of make this feel like a worthwhile kind of aspect, an event. If you're familiar with the NFL, the Pro Bowl is basically dead. It's a flag football game, and it's pointless. When I was a kid, back in my day, the Pro Bowl meant something, like big time. It was a big deal if you made the Pro Bowl, and then if you played in the Pro Bowl, it wasn't as important as obviously the Super Bowl or a regular season game even, but it still felt important enough that the players cared about it to a level where they would be competitive. And now it's just kind of like a sideshow. It's almost like a badge. Hey, you made the Pro Bowl. So it's just like a resume builder, basically, at this point. The actual event is pointless. And if we're being honest, the whole Pro Bowl event itself has always kind of been pointless, but there was still a level of fascination, star players, seeing everybody play, and a little bit of competitive nature to it all too. At the same time, we don't get that anymore. But so now with this flag football tournament or match or game that they have going on in Saudi Arabia here, where Tom Brady's part of one team and Logan Paul's part of the other, you got to make this try to feel as valuable as you possibly can. If you want, Tom Brady's trying to deliver for I'm sure the exorbitant, crazy amount of money that he's going to make off of this. And, as we all are familiar with Saudi Arabia, they got money flowing out the wazoo in every which way. And it's a very controversial situation still to this day of people going over there. You think about, WWE used to get a real big stink about it, obviously, considering everything that went through with all that throughout the years. And now even, they're going to get WrestleMania. And after that, then they just had Royal Rumble. You also think about the comedians that brought over there, that comedian tour. Now, a lot of those comedians, not a lot of them, but a good deal of those comedians got a lot of flack for going over to Saudi Arabia. And, one of my favorites of all time, Bill Burr went over there to do stand-up. And he was known to be very outspoken about big business, corporation, and to a level selling out or whatever in that. And so he ended up doing that and then kind of praised the experience on his podcast afterwards. Well, a lot of his audience felt that was against the Bill Burr brand and the nature of who he was as a comedian. And so he got a lot of flack for that. You know, Dave Chappelle was another one. Whitney Cummings was another one too. And then other people did do it and said, "Yeah, I did it for the money." And so, and if you're also familiar, the comedian Tim Dillon actually got offered to go over there, but he made a joke about Saudi Arabia beforehand. Something I can't remember what it was in reference to, but it was just that they had slaves still, and they uninvited him after that. So certainly a lot of controversy going on, but Saudi Arabia is trying to create this identity where it's, ooh, look at all these big nature things and everything going down, and boxing events and golf and you name it. There's a lot of different stuff going down with it all. So yes, it's almost like a uphill battle to try to make a flag football game seem important and valuable. And if Tom Brady's at the forefront of it, he's going to try to make it feel like a big deal. Well, when he went on, like I said, when he went on Impulsive here, it ended up being Logan Paul kind of downplayed and kind of made fun of it a little bit. Oh, it's going to be an easy cakewalk for me and all that stuff. Well, Tom Brady had his own comments. This is aggregated from SEScoops.com, a website I used to write for here. So the back and forth began during an appearance on Paul's Impulsive podcast when Brady dismissed Paul's WWE career as cute. That's right, because Paul mentioned, I do WWE and all that stuff, and argued it doesn't compare to the athleticism of elite NFL players. Brady name-dropped stars like Saquon Barkley, Odell Beckham Jr., and Justin Jefferson, telling Paul that while he's a good athlete, NFL players are on another level entirely. And then he added, I was going back and forth with Tom. Oh, this is Logan Paul later on, following up about NFL players and their athleticism. So he says, I was going back and forth with Tom Brady, and we were talking about athleticism and what it takes to be an athlete. And so funny, Tom Brady talking to me about being an athlete. Bro, the worst NFL combine of all time, Paul said, referring to Brady's performance at the 2000 combine. Okay, you won 7 Super Bowls. It's like 7 Super Bowls, 6 Super Bowls, 7 Super Bowls. It doesn't matter how many Super Bowls you won, how many United States titles you have won. How many United States titles have you won? How many subscribers do you have on YouTube? What's your net worth? This is great. I'm just reading this for the first time. This is great. If you put any of these WWE superstars on the roster, including the women on an NFL team, they would do the bare minimum all right because these people are athletes, Paul continued. If you pick 99% of NFL athletes from the team and put them on a WWE ring, they would shit the bed. They would not be able to do it. This is the hardest thing in the world to do. So I think those are great comments. I think Logan Paul's kind of playing into it, obviously, a little bit. But there is a resonance of truth on both sides. Playing in the NFL as a whole, Tom Brady's right. It's a whole other level of athleticism and fortitude to be able to go and play pro football. While I do believe Logan Paul is a great athlete, I don't know how many passes he would catch or how many people he would beat, in offensive passing game. Could he cover a Justin Jefferson? Heck no, he couldn't cover a Justin Jefferson. Heck no. Could he? I mean, I think Tom Brady could have evaded him in a pass, in a tackle or sack attempt, even though Tom Brady isn't necessarily athletic. Well, maybe, I don't know. That could be maybe a little debatable, but I do think it's another level of athleticism. It's a different type of athleticism. So I wouldn't necessarily rank these like, boom, NFL's up here and WWE's down here. It's just a different type. They're not even the same ecoscape, right? And so this is what Paul mentioned too, that 99% of NFL players couldn't do WWE. And, Dave Meltzer kind of went after Paul for saying that. Oh, but this is also. Oh, before I do that, though, let me say Paul also today, I think, tweeted out Ninja Mac. If you're not familiar with Ninja Mac, he's one of these. He's part of JCW, but he does flipping stuff. And he's flipping down the wrestling aisle. And it's a classic. It's a meme kind of video for pro wrestling now. But this Ninja Mac then ends up hitting his opponent on the outside with his legs after flipping repeatedly. And so Logan Paul said, what did he say here? Oh, this is not what I want. I'm removing this, and then we're putting this up. Let's see Tom Brady do this. And he's referring to the Ninja Mac thing. And then Tom Brady says, we're not playing flag gymnastics, right? So they're really playing into this. Like, I don't think these guys are really contentious with one another. This is what you do when you're trying to promote an event. Pro wrestling, boxing, like this is how you get things over as much as you can. You want to create intrigue. Because if you're just having a flag football game and you have two names like a Tom Brady and Logan Paul, might be intriguing to some people, but if you have to create a little bit of something more in between these two. So you're getting this right now with these two. And I think it's great stuff. It's pro wrestling. It's pro wrestling. And, pro wrestling, it's just promoting. That's what it is. So, but Dave Meltzer did chime in about Logan Paul's quip about the NFL players. And, that's the wrong one here. This is, okay, so Dave Meltzer, a man with no idea how many NFL and college football players were foundational stars of this industry. So Meltzer's right that, like, in that regard. But I don't think, and like, yes, there's a great pool. You think about the West Texas, football team. You had Terry Funk, you had Dory Funk, you had Tully Blanchard, you had Bruiser Brody, you had Dusty Rhodes, Dick Murdoch indirectly, Tito Santana, Ted DiBiase. Hacksaw didn't play for them, but I think he played for. Marcus would attack me for this. Why can't I think of the name the college football team he played for? Either way, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, another one. But yes, there's plenty of list of names that played college football and went over there. And then you had plenty of names several names that played pro football that made the transition over into wrestling. Big Cat Ernie Ladd, Wahoo McDaniel played for my New York Jets. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of some other ones. Brock Lesnar, I mean, obviously he was a wrestler first, and then he played a little bit of the football with the Vikings in Minnesota preseason. But, so there is there. But I do think Logan Paul's right in a way that that transition is not organic. That just does not happen. Even though you're an athlete on the NFL gridiron, you're not an athlete from a pro wrestling realm. There's so much more that goes into it. There's a level of gymnastics in today's world, if you will, but there is you have to be able to take these bumps, and you don't have pads on. You don't have pads on. You have knee pads, you have elbow pads, and that's it. Okay, so it is a completely different kind of thing, and that you're graceful on the NFL field or the gridiron does not mean you're going to be graceful in the ring and make something work and make it look intriguing. Now, I did speak with somebody in NXT, and I thought this was a fascinating conversation. This was about over a year ago, when NXT was in Philadelphia. And I know a couple people that work for WWE and NXT, and I was chatting with one of them, and a prominent figure behind the scenes in there, and he was saying how the focus has gone and how much he really enjoys working with non-pro wrestling fans and just athletes. So I do think there is that element that if an NFL player were to commit themselves to working a WWE kind of style and stuff like that, it might be a lot more easier of a transition than, say, me trying to do it. Or even a high school pro if you have this athletic background, I think you have the potential to maybe do something in pro wrestling, but it takes a lot of training, a lot of coaching. It's not just something you can just pick up right away. But ultimately, I think this is quote unquote fun and games between Tom Brady and Logan Paul. I really don't think there's any contention one another or anything like that. Maybe the fact that Logan Paul was trying to downplay it and Tom Brady's trying to make this whole thing that he's the main figure of to feel like a big deal in Saudi Arabia, make a flag football game feel important. So when Logan Paul's kind of bashing it tongue in cheek, maybe Tom Brady's kind of trying to do damage control in that interview, but ultimately I think hey, let's run with this and let's make something out of it. I think that's maybe what it's coming down to in a lot of ways. If you're new here, hit the like button on StudioOneSports.com. If you're watching on X, whether that's the Studio One Sports X account or RVD's X account, go over to StudioOneSports.com. Do me a favor, hit the like button, hit subscribe. Oh, yes, geez, how could I forget about this one? AJ Francis was an Arizona Cardinal. Yeah, don't know if he was a Cardinal. He was a Washington Redskin. And then I know he played for another one. Moose is another one, though, who played with freaking Tom Brady. No, Hacksaw did not play for the University of Tennessee. It was, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on it? It was like it's a red and blue color scheme. I can't remember the name of it. Oh, Vader played for Colorado. Yes, good one. Triple E chiming in. A lot of things made it to the Olympics or Special Olympics before football, like ping pong, breakdancing. Okay. All right. I don't know what's that's in reference to. Sorry, Triple E. Oh, I see. They're having a conversation in here. Oh, yeah, to be fair, Brock Lesnar couldn't make an NFL roster, and he didn't. Yeah, he didn't. You're right on that. That's for sure. Yeah, had a preseason game with the Vikings, but still didn't make the roster. Absolutely. Yes. See how quick Jake Paul went back on what he said about Bad Bunny. I think that, now that you want to talk about damage control, I think Logan Paul had to do a little bit of damage control with that. Jake Paul chiming in about the Bad Bunny halftime show, and Logan Paul was like, "I love my brother, but he's wrong on this one." Not only does WWE have ties with Bad Bunny, obviously, and Logan Paul, so there's that connection. But ultimately, I don't think that's a great take at all by Jake Paul. Triple E, Dom would be 1 million times better in the ring than Logan Paul. Marcus D'Angelo 1 billion times better wrestler and is a real wrestler. I don't know. I mean, love my brother, like Logan Paul said about his brother. I love my brother, and but I am not an athlete by any means of the imagination. Marcus is more of an athlete for sure. He kind of had that natural athletic ability growing up. But Logan Paul, he is on another level of athleticism. There's no doubt about it. Oh yeah, Hacksaw was on the Falcons. I don't know how long he was on it with the Falcons, but or if he played any games. Goldberg's another one. But if you also look too, Mongo McMichael and Kevin Green, they went over to the wrestling ring, and that's what it is. Thank you, Triple E. Southern Methodist University. Southern Methodist is where SMU. That's where Hacksaw did that. Yeah, Razor's the athlete of the family. He really is. But where was I going? I lost my train of thought. Help me out here. What was I talking about? Shoot. Oh, yeah, Logan Paul is just on another level of athleticism in comparison to like I said, I love my brother, but there's stuff that Logan Paul is doing that Marcus definitely could not do. And it's not Marcus's style to wrestle in that manner either. So I know I'm always talking about cats. But yeah, I do think it's something that it's interesting. Will I watch it? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to watch it. Wow. So he was on the Falcons from 77 to 78. His knee injuries cut his time short. There we go. Wow. Oh, this is what I was talking about. Kevin Green and Mongo McMichael, both late players, passed away. They made the wrestling transition, and they weren't that good, in the ring, really. I mean, Mongo had charisma and was great, as a commentator, and was I think an awesome element to the Four Horsemen, even though he wasn't that amazing of a wrestler. I thought I was a cool part of it. It added some legitimacy to it, and but they weren't that great of wrestlers if we're being honest about it. Pac-Man Jones, another one. He made DeAngelo Williams from the Carolina Panthers, running back in the day. Boy, I haven't been watching the Winter Olympics, so I can't really weigh in on this. What do you think about the women's hockey team chances getting gold? They look fantastic. Hey, I'd say if they look good, why the heck not? I'm more fascinated by the women's soccer team typically than I am the men's soccer team. They always just seem way more legitimate and put together and stuff like that. So yeah. Oh, yes, they do. The Panthers have a safety named Xavier Woods. I know, it blew my mind. Yeah, I think he used to play on the Vikings too before that. But yeah, ultimately, this is fun stuff. Did want to take a moment too to talk about Logan Paul a little bit more in depth. I just think he's a fantastic heel. I think he's the best heel going right now, as a matter of fact. And like I would put him, MJF up there, and Drew. Like those are maybe my top 3 heels. Becky's up there too. But Logan Paul like epitomizes a pro wrestling heel. Like he's cocky, he plays a good coward, a good chicken shit heel, and he's not afraid to do that. Like, and that funny stuff he was saying to Tom Brady. Like, do you know how many subscribers I have? And all this, like, naming off these statistics that nobody gives a shit about. And like in the original interview, he was talking about like his high school statistics in comparison to Tom Brady. That's some heel stuff right there. So completely pro wrestling. He is the best heel in the business, Logan Paul. I think MJF receives a little bit more residual appreciation because he's so good at it. And, you know, to be forthright, I really don't think that MJF has a great babyface counterpart to really get him that heel heat. You know what I mean? Like, MJF is so good at what he does, the fans appreciate him. If he had a comparable babyface to that level of charisma that MJF has, then I think he would, like, it would only elevate MJF's heelish ability. I think he gets that effect of like, oh, yeah, I'm working with somebody. Like, and not to say Brody King's a bad babyface by any stretch of the imagination, but if you have this really, really hot, charismatic, connection with the fans kind of babyface, and then you have MJF, then it would help MJF out a lot. Oh, like Will Ospreay. That's the hope for him, right? I think there's a lot of potential for Ospreay to be a top babyface. He cuts great babyface promos and he connects with the fans in that kind of manner. Yeah, I think Logan Paul. I think Will Ospreay is a good one. Devin, great call out there. But I think Logan Paul is the best heel going right now. And I will say this: this is my bold prediction. Don't know how bold it is because I could very much foresee it happening. I'm predicting 2026. Logan Paul is going to win a world title. Whichever one it is, the World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Championship, he's going to win one of them this year. That's my hot take. I don't know. It just seems like it could happen. I don't know what the odds of that would be, but yeah, I could see it happening for sure. And I think he deserves it. And if you look at the landscape of pro wrestling, or WWE in specific, he signed a multi-year deal with him, and he's there every week. He's committed. Like, he's just as part of it as everybody else. I think Logan Paul, I think he's gonna win a world championship this year. And I don't think it would be hot-shotting it in any form of the imagination. I think if you gave him a world title this juncture, he could be a big part of it for sure. And he could make it legitimate, I think. Make it look legitimate. Oh, no way, Triple E. No way. The day Logan Paul wins a world title is the day after Enzo Amore gets drafted number 1. No, Logan Paul is going to win a world title. Does he necessarily need it? I don't think he necessarily does. I really don't. Like, you look at other people that are great on the mic and that were great heels. Roddy Piper, as much as he deserved, and earned a world champion, WWE championship reign. He didn't get it because he was so good. He didn't need it. Logan Paul doesn't necessarily need it, I don't think, but I could see that happening. I think it would just add to the title. Some people might think that diminishes the title because he was a YouTuber turned pro wrestler. But now that he's in the ecoscape and he's shown he's capable of wrestling, he's in it, man. He's part of it. So, yeah, that's my prediction. And I think the Tom Brady, Logan Paul kind of discourse, while a little manufactured, still pretty fun and makes sense. Just pro wrestling. That's what it goes with. But hope everybody had a happy Valentine's Day. I love Valentine's Day. I'm a huge fan of Valentine's Day. Whether I'm dating somebody or not, I love it. I've always loved it. Something I did not love, however, was this. I did take note of this, everybody. So The Wrestling Observer had their year-end awards here, and look at this. Look at this. The 2025 Wrestling Observer Best Television Announcer, the Jim Ross Award. Number 1, Bryan Danielson with 315 votes. Number 2, Walker Stewart, who is of New Japan, had 297 votes. Excalibur had 158 votes. Nigel McGuinness with 145 votes. And Michael Cole rounds it out, number 5 with 38 votes. How in the world did I not make the best commentator? IWC, I carry that whole promotion with my voice. I am the moral compass and the comedian and the analysis of it all. I cover all 3 bases with that. And I did not even get a vote on the Wrestling Observer News letter. What's the deal with that? Huh? What's the deal, Dave? What's the deal? Worried about the AEW ratings and all this stuff. Maybe put the right guy on the ballot here for this commentator position. And hey, where's Corey Graves? Where's Wade Barrett? Corey Graves. I mean, if I'm being forthright, Corey Graves should have been number 1. No doubt. Like, he's great. Corey Graves is the best. He can play any type of, if you need a baby face, he'll be the baby face on there. If you need a heel, he can be the heel. And then he gives you breakdown and analysis. Corey Graves is the best mainstream color or commentator going right now, I think. So there we go. Let's take a couple more questions here. Devin asked, do you got a girlfriend, Dom? I am single and ready to mingle. But I still love Valentine's Day. I really do. I love Valentine's Day big time. Caspian says, do you think Paul would have stuck around the business if this was 20 years ago, getting in the ring with physical matches with Benoit, Angle, Hardcore Holly, and more guys like that? Just curious. That's an intriguing kind of thing. It would really, I mean, the only kind of comparison you could make at that time maybe would have been Miz, right? So, and Miz is somebody that stuck through it, like stuck through the bully aspect of it all, and kind of like that. This guy's a reality television star, and he's trying to make it work. Yeah, right, man. Good luck. You're gonna have we're gonna give you a rough time here. I don't know. I think Logan Paul could have done it. Like he mentioned, he did play high school athletics, and let me say this: anytime a wrestler has some sort of athletic background or is some sort of organized sport beforehand to getting into wrestling, like and wrestling isn't their end all be all. Like, you didn't grow up just loving wrestling as a kid. You had other interests. You played basketball, you played football, whatever it may be. It gives you a little bit more discipline and almost an understanding of tough love, if you will, or, you know, the tough aspect of coaching. So I'm sure he probably got some licks and stuff like that when he was playing high school athletics and sports. And so I'm sure some of this bully mentality or the locker room kind of behavior and stuff like that, Logan Paul might not hit him as hard as it would somebody else trying to get into it. So I could maybe see him weathering the storm enough to get to where he's at. But like at the same time too, I think his trajectory is fitting for, you know, his popularity. Obviously, he was a big name before coming into WWE, and that's why WWE utilized him. So, and then you combine that with his charisma and then his natural athletic nature and style to do what he's able to do, I think just puts him over in that regard. But that's a good question. I think Paul would have made it if he, you know, this is just on assumption of maybe his mental makeup. I mean, and guys like that, they have some sort of drive to get them far enough to where they're at, you know, in their careers. And it doesn't matter if you're a YouTube influencer. Like, it takes a lot of thought and process and ability to even get to that kind of level of popularity. Like, some people would say he lucked out, and, you know, yeah, you have this, you know, but like some of this stuff takes a lot of work to get. I mean, if you're in any, like, especially nowadays, it really does. But I mean, you have to have this level of drive and willingness to, take the mental beating of, failure and all that kind of stuff. So, and Logan Paul, like, I think he's probably has experienced some of that in some nature, and has some sort of Teflon attitude about it all too. Thanks, Triple E. If they watch one episode of IWC, Dom should be number 1. Thank you. Jesse Ventura should have been number 1. Man, I would have loved to see Jesse more. I know, like, he probably said stuff that was counterproductive, but look, you bring Jesse in there, you're going to get that. And I think that's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. What are the odds Paul flames out like Ronda Rousey? So I don't know if necessarily Ronda Rousey flamed out. I think that it was just a matter of she grew detached of it and WWE grew detached to her. Like, and I honestly don't think that they necessarily booked her right, and maybe that was, it takes 2 to tango. So, don't want to completely put the onus on WWE with all that either, because, she might have, like, there could have been some stuff that was like hard to deal with or whatever it may be. But like, I wouldn't say that Ronda Rousey flamed out. I don't think that's going to happen with Logan Paul. I mean, I think all wrestlers, if you really think about it to an extent, kind of flame out in their own right. Like, people got sick of Cena. People got sick of, even CM Punk. If he didn't go away, he would have kind of tapered off and not felt like, a huge thing. I think Chris Jericho, like, he goes to AEW and like builds this product and, is the main figure of it, the face of it in a lot of ways, like really putting it on the map as far as that goes. But years over the course of time, it's just like, he's done everything and been everywhere with it all. So like, I think Ronda Rousey was maybe at that point, but I think some of that got maybe expedited just by maybe the backstage situation and the attitudes of both parties. So I think Logan Paul at some point will kind of plateau. I think plateau might be the more proper term for it. I think he will plateau at some point, but that's depending on, hey, you send Logan Paul away and then he comes back, he'll feel like a big deal again. That's just the nature of wrestling, and that's why you bring in the acts like get back in the territory days, like Abdullah the Butcher or Andre the Giant, or, would come to a territory and work, a couple weeks or whatever it may be, and then they leave. So then the bloom isn't off the road. So I just I really think Ronda Rousey's what is the word? Revolutionized women in wrestling. She was a huge part of it. I think obviously you think about the women like Charlotte Flair, Becky, Bayley, and Sasha or Mercedes Moné. You think about the 4 horsewomen and stuff, and sure, absolutely. And Paige too. You can't forget about that. If you really want to dive back even a little bit further, you could say a Natty, or you could say Mickey James or somebody. And then if you want to go in the TNA route, you could say Gail Kim and Awesome Kong. But I mean, you get a mainstream star like Ronda Rousey to come there and kind of take it to it naturally, like a Kurt Angle, or to an extent, even a Logan Paul, right? And then you have something really big going there, and that only elevates your women's division. She was a huge part of that, and so I always appreciate Ronda Rousey for her coming here to WWE and kind of doing what she did, because women's wrestling, like yeah, while it's great, I think that without her presence being there, don't know if it would be as like, wow, got to tune in like to it as much. I don't know how much it would have resonated without her being there. I think they were kind of on their way, but she really boosted it up in a big manner and made it feel like main event level kind of material and stuff like that. So I always kind of credit Ronda Rousey in it for a big part of that, and whether she rubs people the wrong way or whatever it may be, I think she was huge, and I was a huge fan of hers in WWE, and huge fan of her in MMA too, or UFC, or whatever. But yeah, it's an interesting pitch out there, I think. All right, wow, didn't know we were going to go on down that road. But hey, if you like what you're seeing, go to studio1sports.com, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and maybe turn on those notifications. The X has changed how the platform airs streaming, so I have to manually go through and post it, because typically it would just have automatically been on feeds. I have to actually go through to the feeds and then post them. So it helps out if you're able to just go to the channel and like it, and or turn on the notifications. And yeah, we'll do more live streams. I have some more plans for this coming up. I'm going to try to get a match up of Exodus too. Richard Holiday versus Cal Hero will be the next on my docket to get posted on Studio1Sports.com. You can catch that full match coming up here, but you can also catch an NWA World's Championship match already up on there. That's right. Silas Mason defends his title in singles action, and it's a very, very fun match against Anthony Green, formerly of WWE, as a matter of fact. That's an awesome match too. There's also a women's match. Speaking of women's match, we have a women's match up on Studio1Sports.com. Ava Brooks taking on, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on her name? But check it out. It's amazing. It's a fun match too. That was one of the opening matches. And then Marcus, speaking of my brother, has a new podcast with EC3. The Top 1% is up on Studio1Sports.com right now. They talk about the independent wrestling scene and how the stars you got to look out for. And EC3 gives his insight and philosophy on wrestling and how to survive on the independent wrestling scene. And Marcus, new to the game and on the independent scene, they have a great dynamic going on. So check it out. The Top 1%. It's up right now on Studio1Sports.com. You can check me out and Robert Karplus out every Monday through Friday, live on here as well. Rumor and Innuendo, we go at live at noon Eastern Standard Time to give you 30 minutes of the daily wrestling news. And so be sure to tune into that. And tune into RVDTV.com. That's right. Me and Rob Van Dam, we go live every Monday night. It's been recently at 9:15 p.m. RVDTV.com. And check out a new episode. Check out the latest episode this week. He gives some big news. RVD's returning to the ring, man. This year, 2026. Where could he go? Who knows? But it's going to be a damn good time. So be sure to check that episode out. That's up in full at RVDTV.com. And I have a couple clips up there as well. Finally, also on Studio1Sports.com, me and Fonzie went live. Bill, Fonzie Alfonso. We chatted about Tetsume Fujinami going up against Ric Flair in the Tokyo Dome, 1991. Who was the referee? Fonzie. And so he recounts his experience working with Ric Flair, some fun stories on Giant Gonzalez as well, and gives a lot of neat, fun little stories that goes on with those days working with those guys and how that really propelled this event. Basically led to further opportunity in his pro wrestling career. If it wasn't for that, he may have not been working for WCW, and then later on going to WWE and stuff. So check it out. It's a very, very fun episode. Fonzie's the best. And there will be more to come here on Studio1Sports.com. Going to get some interviews lined up and see where that leads to. So appreciate everybody tuning in, from Triple E to Caspian to Devin Dowling to Ben Jones giving a shout out early on too. And just appreciate everybody that chimes in and gives their thoughts. I really, truly, truly thankful for it all. Let me cover this real quick regarding Bill Burr. Devin Dowling said earlier on Bill Burr's last stand-up, he talked about being more accepting towards random shit his wife asks him to do and all the time, and how he's made his relationship awesome. I've been trying it. Yeah, it's good. See, Bill gets the flack for the Saudi stuff, but dude, like, I've always liked Bill Burr. Like his advice stuff is really on point. Like, so much of the stuff that's a great part about Bill's podcast and stuff like that. So I always appreciate Bill Burr. I appreciate good comedy too. So, all right. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll be back at some point or another to discuss more wrestling. I have no idea what's happened on Grand Slam. I did hear Ice Chance happened again in Australia. So that's been a lot of talk over this week. Going to be curious if there will be any effects on it. I don't know. Now that it's hit Warner Brother Discovery's radar, will they take more note of it? Because it wasn't that big of a deal. So I don't know. To Warner Brothers Discovery, but now not necessarily going on. I don't get it. Thank you, Devin. Dom, you're a hell of a salesman. Thank you. Katie Forbes, RVD, and Sabu fan site. Hey, RVD, can you wish my Rick's son? Rob is not here, but I will wish your son Rick a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Rick. Happy birthday indeed. So, man, on Valentine's Day of all days. That's pretty awesome. Caspian says he's pro ice, and my drink keeps it cold. Devin Dowling says they're talking about winter. They're near the equator. I don't get a lot of ice. All right. Well, that'll do it for me. Yes, I'll be back on the channel at least on Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time. And I'll see you then. But thank you all for tuning in to StudioOneSports.com.